Hey Xbox fans, welcome to the Xbox FanFest Watch Party. My name is Brina Hatcher and I am your host for today. I've been a part of the FanFest team for 6 years and have produced and been a part of many of our in-person events. Although I miss being able to be in person and celebrate with you, it's been great to include more Xbox fans from around the world doing these experiences digitally. We hope to have in-person back as well in the future. Whether you've been to a previous in-person FanFest or a digital one, or just joining us for the first time today, welcome everyone. I've talked a lot about events, but Xbox FanFest is now more than just that. As a FanFest fan, you get first access to learn about our exclusives, special offers like FanFest gear, access to exclusive digital experiences like this one, sweepstakes, and more. Today is all about bringing the Xbox fan community together and creating an inclusive place to connect with each other. Only by watching on this site do you get a chance to participate with other self-proclaimed fans and interact with the family of Team Xbox and Team Bethesda. We'd love it if you follow us on social at Xbox and use our hashtag XboxFanFest for any conversation about this event. We truly enjoy seeing your interaction and entertainment. Before we jump into our program, here's a little bit more detail about what you can do to get the most out of today. There should be a chat box open on your screen, but if not, you can open it by clicking on the icon with the 3 lines in the bottom corner. Choose a display name to join the conversation. In the Q&A tab, you can submit your question for our special guests. We'll be picking these questions randomly throughout the show and giving you a shout out by calling out your display name. If you need any assistance, please reach out to the FanFest team in our moderator tab. A reminder that today is all about having fun, so please follow our digital code of conduct and be friendly and respectful in the chat. At the bottom of the page, there's also a link to our FanFest gear shop. Earlier this week, we asked you to submit your gaming questions to our panel of special guests. We got a ton of great submissions, so thank you, but we had to narrow it down to just a few. If you didn't get your question answered, not to worry, there will be plenty more additional opportunities like this one in the future. And as a reminder, you still have the chance to submit your questions in the Q&A tab. Let's get this party started. All right, it's time to welcome in our very special guests. Joining us today is Head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. Head of Xbox Creator
really
Experience, Sarah Bond.
Hey, everyone.
Head of Xbox Games Marketing, Aaron Greenberg.
Good morning, everybody.
And head of Bethesda Marketing Communications, Pete Hines.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. It's so good to have you all here. Phil, I bet fans are peeking behind you to see what Easter eggs they might be able to find on your shelf. You got any hints for us?
No Easter eggs. No Easter eggs. Maybe
Hey,
there's
Sarah,
like a little
great
mini Aaron Greenberg behind me somewhere.
Oh. Hey, Sarah, it's great to see you. I see you've got some FanFest gear on and in the background, and you got a mug. You've got your gamer tag on that mug?
I actually do. Well, I'm drinking from this mug because it's big and I really need big mugs to drink from. But this one does have my gamer tag, Sarah Bond, on it, as famously told to the world by Pete Hines.
I love it. Thanks for representing our FanFest gear. Hey, Aaron, so good to have you here as well. I think the last time you joined us for FanFest, you were in Montana. Where are you joining from us today?
I'm in a little place called Redmond, Washington, on the headquarters, the Microsoft campus headquarters here. And man, I am so excited. What a big day for the team, and just wish I was there to give all our fans a hug and a high five in person.
Well, thanks
It's
for
like,
joining
where
us
in the
today.
world is Aaron Greenberg?
Yeah, right? It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, so great to have you here as well.
I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome.
How have you been enjoying the Xbox and Bethesda partnership? so far?
It's been amazing. I get to work with Greenie really closely, and Sarah and Phil, and honestly, we've gotten to know so many people in the organization. It's been awesome to see how similar our cultures are, and so excited, as Greenie said, for today and to show everybody what all of us have been working so hard on to show our fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, awesome. Thank you all for being here today. Prior to the event, we asked the fans to submit questions to you both in writing and in video. They can also ask a question in the Q&A tab during this live stream, and we'll select from those and I'll direct those questions to you all. It's time to start sharing those questions with you now. I know the fans are really excited to see if their questions were selected. Aaron, our first question is for you, so let's take a look at our first fan video.
Hello Xbox, my name is Uchendu and this question is for Aaron Greenberg. This year will mark the 20th anniversary of Xbox, and you've been here since almost the beginning. What do you think is the biggest thing that has changed about Xbox in the last 20 years? Thanks, and have a great E3 presentation.
Thanks, Uchendu, for that awesome video and question. All right, Aaron, Uchendu wants to know what you think has been the biggest change at Xbox in the last 20 years.
By the way, I just have to say, I recognize Uchendu. He was the first fan years ago when we originally had one of our big launches in New York. He was the first fan in line at one of our events in New York City. So I remember him. I remember him well. God, he's been a passionate fan from the beginning. So I just want to say thank you for that. So like when the video came and I saw your face, I was like, oh my God. So I'd say, it's been a journey for us. I think we've learned a lot. Like literally every single year, it feels like we just get sharper as a team. I would say that, right now I feel really just like we're really part of a team that is really pioneering and changing and thinking about the future of gaming. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is how much we focus and just obsessed we are with our fans and putting fans first in everything we do, from making sure we have the most powerful console to making sure that we way over deliver on value for Game Pass, adding the team at Bethesda into the group. I mean, what an incredible dream team now of 23 first-party studios all making games for our fans. The innovation we're doing with cloud, what we're doing to really push and bring all our games to PC. So I just think there's just a lot of goodness and so many people. I've never seen more people working harder than they are right now. And I think the collection of many years of people's efforts to get us to where we are today is the reason for that. So a lot of team pride here, and we love what we do. We love working together. It's just an incredibly positive culture, and hopefully fans can see that from the outside as well.
Thanks, Aaron. I love that you recognized Uchendu. That's awesome. And thanks for your video submission, Uchendu. I'm going to take a question from our Q&A submitted questions. This question I'm going to direct to Pete. Pete, this question comes in from Donut2546. What is the most impactful to you, gameplay or graphics or both?
Well, at the end of the day, first of all, it's a good question. And honestly, I think a lot of times for games, ultimately what decides that is the developer. Like I don't decide whether graphics are more important or gameplay. It's really about what kind of experience is the dev trying to create. For us, for a lot of things at Bethesda, the importance of graphics is really about that transportive experience, that we're trying to put you in another world where you can live a different life. You can be in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. You get to be the Doomslayer. You can do all of these amazing things. And the graphics really give those places a sense of being, that you feel like it's a real lived-in world. At the same time, if the gameplay isn't fun, then you're in a beautiful world where it's really boring. So really, it's all about how do you figure out the right balance of those things, because you can do anything, you just can't do everything. It's a very famous Todd Howard quote that I'm particularly fond of. And so it's really about finding the right mix of those for the kind of experience you want your game to deliver.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. We have time for another fan-submitted question. I'm going to direct this one at Aaron. Aaron, this one comes in from Revolution J12. What is your favorite car you've had on stage, and why is it the Lego McLaren Senna?
I love the question is the answer. That's so good. Well, to be honest, like that's the thing I miss about doing these things in person is like which car is going to be on stage. I mean, people remember we've had Lego cars, we've dropped cars. We literally dropped a car from the ceiling one time. We were in a meeting and dreamed it up, and our production team's like, let's see if we can get approval. Okay, we are officially going to drop the car from the ceiling in the middle of our fans. So people remember that. So it's just been fun. I think celebrating with Turn 10 and the Playground team, and people know that, we've put a real focus on racing and obviously open world racing as well with the Horizon franchise. It's been fun to do the car reveals. Anyway, every year we do something different. I don't know. Maybe there's a car in the show today. I don't know. We'll see. But no physical cars. No physical cars will appear in your living room. So you'll have to wait for next year for physical cars to drop. But I would say the Lego one is definitely going to be a fan favorite.
Thanks, Aaron. Looking forward to figuring out how we can drop cars in people's living rooms. All right, Phil, this next video question is for you. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Gio. Gamertag is Alien Psych. My question is for Phil Spencer. I just wanted to know if there was anything about the pandemic or you being in quarantine that somehow made you have that aha moment about Xbox or gaming, and if it changed the direction of your thinking in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Thank you for that awesome video and question. All right, Phil, Alien Psych wants to know if the pandemic and quarantine gave you any great ideas or made you change your thinking about gaming.
Yeah, I think it's a really thoughtful question. And obviously so many of us have been dealing with a lot of stress and emotion and real life circumstances outside of work and outside of play. I'm just really proud of the way the game industry has stepped up to be such an outlet for people, whether that's just I need to get away and escape into play, a way to socialize and connect with friends that I already have, a way to meet new friends when I can't be out in the physical world. We've seen a huge just swell of use and engagement and play over the last 12 months, which has been incredible. I think the thing that's been most impactful for me, and we've been watching how many new friend connections have been made on Xbox Live. And it's literally tens of millions of new friend connections have been made over the pandemic of just people with all the extra play that's happening, people finding games that allow people to play together. And just to know that this incredible art form that I have the privilege to be a part of in gaming has played that important role to so many is something that it's not so much changed the way I think about this industry, but it's definitely accelerated the way we at Team Xbox think about the impact that we can have, because it is about games, it's about gameplay, it's about consoles and PC and cloud and all the things that we're doing. But really at the root of it, it's about people, and it's about the connections that people make through the power of play and how important that is in our lives. And that, I think, has just re-cemented us as a team on the mission that we're on. When everybody plays, we all win. When everybody feels safe and included. When we're putting out some amazing stories that people can play and learn, and all of those things have been fantastic. So this last 12, 15 months have, I think, really just cemented our purpose as a team. And while it's unfortunate we went through a pandemic to get there, it does just kind of really a foundational point of being in this industry is the impact that we can have globally. And that's something that has really landed for us as a team. Good question.
Absolutely. Thank you, Phil. All right, I'm going to take a question from our Q&A submitted questions. This one is for Sarah from Crosby 1986. As Xbox Game Pass continues to grow and become a core pillar of our ecosystem, are developers considering producing games exclusively for Xbox Game Pass?
The thing I love about Xbox Game Pass is that it makes it possible for games to be discovered and played that otherwise maybe we never would have had the opportunity to try. And there's so much more variety that people will be able to play. There's so much more exploration. I'm sure you guys are all experiencing that. And it just makes it possible for really great games to be discovered in a whole new way. And so I don't think it's about a game being exclusive for Xbox Game Pass, because it's just about gaming. And Game Pass just makes it possible for those great games to be discovered and enjoyed by more and more people. And that's honestly why I love it. It just amplifies more voices, more stories, and brings them to all of you in the most accessible way possible.
Thanks, Sarah. We have another question before our next fan video, and this is for Pete. And this is from the Suicide Grunt. It's another kind of answer to the question. So the future
sounds like a good
Xbox,
one for Pete.
The future
the names
of
are the
Xbox
best.
and Bethesda is exciting. But what excites you the most, and why is it Phil Spencer?
First of all, that actually is the correct answer to that question. So thank you for feeding me that. It is that, actually. And it is, I'm going to say it, even though he's sitting right there, which is, look, Phil, Xbox has changed a lot since Phil took over. I've worked with Xbox since Greenie was there, right? We talked about Greenie being there forever. I've been at Bethesda about as long as Greenie has been at Xbox. And I've been working with Xbox all that time. And it's just undeniable that Xbox right now, the version of Xbox that we got to join is, in my opinion, the best that Xbox has ever been. And part of what excites us is not like really big stuff. It is the little stuff. When Greenie or Sarah or whomever and I are talking about, well, how do we approach this? Or, hey, maybe we should do this other way. It's not like we all immediately agree with each other, because I just think that's too easy. And for those of us, the four of us have been doing this for decades and decades. And we know that you don't do something like make video games and have everybody just agree to everything. It just doesn't work out like that. And the best thing about our relationship has been our ability to find common ground and to figure out how do we, give a little or take a little or try different things that we're all on board with. I think finding those places where we're not entirely aligned and talking through them and understanding the other side is part of why this relationship is so great. Like, it doesn't manifest itself in a way where every day, like, I don't know, there's birds singing out front of my window in the morning. It's more about, you get to work with people who think about things and approach things similar to you, not exactly the same, because it helps move each of us out of our comfort zones. Even in this thing that you're going to watch here in a little bit, all of us collectively have brought a lot of different ideas and suggestions, and working through all of that to find the best version of what we're doing is what's most exciting for me. And to have folks like Phil or Matt Booty or Sarah or whomever it is really empower our teams to say, hey, we are here to help you make your games even better, and tell us how we can do that. Or we want you to get us your feedback on this feature or that feature, I think is really where you're going to see us start to get so much better at what we do over the coming months and years. And that's what excites me the most, I think.
Really great insight. Thanks, Pete. All right, we're going to go to another fan video. This one is for Sarah. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name's Danny Paparella, coming to you from my childhood home, where in 2011 my mom painted my room to look like Skyrim because I was just so obsessed with the Elder Scrolls series, which is one of the most immersive games I've ever played. And I was wondering, for all of you, what is the most immersive game that you've played where you're like, man, I'm never gonna leave that world. I'm just gonna live here. Thanks.
What an awesome video and
awesome
question. Thanks, Scooty Puff Jr. 305. All right, Sarah, this question wants to know, what's the most immersive game you've ever played, and where would you want to stay and live?
Okay, that is really, really hard. I'll give two, and one of them might be a bit of a surprise. So one of them is both Oris. I just love that game. We played it for hours and hours and hours, a ton of time. We played all as a family in a room, passing the controller around to get through different parts. I think my favorite was watching my daughter get good enough to like beat the like sand monster thing at the end. And I just love that game. It's so beautiful. I would take pictures of the vistas and post them on chats and stuff. But the other game that I lived a lot in, I have to say, was Overcooked 2. So also because you can play with 4 controllers and there's nothing like trying to get my daughter to make the hot dog and, telling my husband that he has to hurry up with the dishes. And maybe that tells you something about my real life. I do love that game.
So good. So good.
That is awesome. I love it. I know everyone wants to
I want to play
Overcooked
2 now with Sarah.
It's so good.
I don't.
That might have to be our next show, a live stream of Sarah and her family
I'd watch
playing
that.
Overcooked.
I'd watch some of that.
I'd also love to just give a shout out to that fan. I think we should have done our FanFest in his room, like to be right there at Tamriel and reliving the Skyrim magic would be pretty awesome. So
Agreed. So cool. All right. We had actual fans submit for their excitement as well. And so we created an awesome highlight reel of our fans' excitement for the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. And we wanted to share that with all of you right now.
Hey!
Hi everyone.
Hi Xbox.
Let's go, baby. Xbox all day, every day.
Hey, I'm DDS618, and man, I'm so excited and jacked about the Xbox and Game Showcase. It's going to be an unbelievable time, and I promise you, you're going to love hearing those words. Exclusive. World premiere.
I am so thrilled to be able to share my excitement for the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase and all the exciting news that is bound to come together with the Xbox community.
Hopefully we'll hear more from 343 about Halo Infinite and maybe see a glimpse of that sweet new Halo multiplayer.
My name is Maximiliano Coman and I'm from Bahia Blanca, Argentina. I can't wait to see the next step in Xbox Game Pass since it has become such an amazing way to play games for all the users in Latin America. Good luck with the show.
I love that Xbox is no longer just like a hardware platform. It's a software platform that you can buy on your phones or PCs, who knows what else. So I'm really excited to see where you continue growing the Xbox brand.
Xbox, if you could just help me out here and grant me one wish, then that wish would be to please give me more information about Starfield. Please.
Heather Spears here, and I'm so excited to see what comes next for Xbox and Bethesda in this show. I am here for the games, and I am so excited to be sitting back and watching with all of you.
I've been an Xbox fan for quite a while, so I'm just looking forward to what new releases they'll have in store for us.
Thank you, first of all, for 20 great years of gaming, and I'm looking forward to the future of gaming.
All I know is I'm extremely ready for Halo Infinite.
Let's go.
Bye.
Wow, everyone submitted some awesome videos. What did you all think? Phil, we'll start with you. What do you think about that fan reel?
It's kind of 2 minds for me. One, it's just so great to see the community, how much they love video games, and it's just fantastic to see videos that people take time out of their lives to record those videos, obviously the love they have for gaming. It also frankly makes me miss our FanFest in person. I can't wait till we get to do that again. It's always one of the highlights of E3 for me, that evening where we have so many people in and I get to meet so many people, have discussions, and some people I've met year over year. And it's a little bit heartfelt that I see faces, and it just reminds me of what we used to do and will do again. But thank you to everybody who spent so much time putting the videos together. They mean a lot to us. So thanks.
I agree. Aaron, your thoughts?
Oh my God. I just love those people. I mean, you can feel the love and the passion. I literally just smiled and laughed and felt like this amazing joy through that. So thank you all for sharing that. I think to Phil's point, I do miss the in person. I remember the very first FanFest we did at E3 LA, many years ago. We just said, hey, we'll give out some tickets. We don't know if anyone will show up. And we were at dinner like during rehearsals, and it was like 2 nights in advance, and people were sleeping out to get into we're like, oh my God. So we quickly like scrambled. We started to deliver like pizza to the fans. And, and that was just this early, like we had no idea that fans would be wanting to sleep out and wait to get into our event. And then having the pleasure of doing that, in Germany at Gamescom and at Mexico with fans there. I've been at FanFest all over the world, in Asia and all over. It's just been incredible to see the energy in every language and every part of the world. I would say what we're doing today is kind of cool because we have tens of thousands of fans here that didn't have to travel, that didn't have to wait in line, sleep out, have the sprinklers come on when they were asleep in the middle of the night. With that said, Phil and I were talking about how true to fan form, some of you were already waiting and digitally lining up last night, many hours in advance of this event. So that passion is just awesome to see, and hopefully, in the next coming year, we get to reconnect in person again.
Absolutely. I bet they're missing the pizza though. I'm sure they'd
Phil
like
and I will bring
some
you
free
some
pizza right now.
We will bring the pizza back. Yeah, we could do that.
Hey, Sarah, what are your thoughts as well?
Well, it just reminds me about why I love what we do at Xbox, because really we get to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And we're just part of a community around the world. And, someone asked earlier about what came, up for Phil as part of the pandemic. And for me, this reminds me more of how interconnected we are. And it's just awesome to see those videos and to see everyone still love everything. And it's just an awesome thing to be part of this team.
Absolutely. And Pete, I know you haven't had a chance yet to be a part of a in-person Xbox Fan Fest. So what was your feelings on seeing that video?
I've gotten to do an awful lot with the Xbox community over the years, whether it was on a barge in Germany during Gamescom, or stopping by things at a Paris Games Week or at PAX Australia. Look, I don't wear this because I don't love Xbox. This is my this is the console that really got me off of PC and into console gaming, and I have been a huge Xbox gamer. But as everybody has said, the thing that I think it highlights for all of us is it's a lot of work to do this. And honestly, for us, in addition to showing fans cool stuff that we're making, the most fun part of all of this is always getting to talk to them face to face, right? Having fans be able to come up and ask you questions or some burning thing they've been dying to tell you, and to take some time out to hear where they're coming from, what gaming has meant to them, because it's nice to get stuff over video, but being able to be in person with somebody, there's just something special about that connection and being able to feel that passion and excitement. And as Phil said, what it underscores for me is how much I can't wait to being able to do this in person again, as we got so used to doing. And we've learned in the last 15 months, like, you can't take those for granted. Like, I assure you, whatever the next in-person thing is, wherever in the world it is, I'm going, because it's been way too long, and it's way too important, I think, to who we are, to stay connected to the folks who are playing our games and support us.
For sure. I myself cannot wait for the moment that we're back in person with our fans. And that's right. You have been at Xbox Fan Fest events in the past, just not while you've been a part of the Xbox family. So
correct.
Forgot about that. I do remember you on a boat in Germany a few years back.
I'm also hoping, because I've seen what you guys have done with your community, Pete, with things like QuakeCon and how you kind of rally people as well. And we're excited to hopefully partake in some of those in the coming years too. So that'll be
honestly, this is one of my favorite things that Xbox does, because it's so I think it resonates with us so much at that grassroots community level. Like, sometimes we're just like, let's find a spot where we can sit down and chat with our fans and let them chat with each other. And just that simple interaction becomes some of the most meaningful, and such a great way to find out what our fans are thinking, what they want, what they don't want, because they will definitely tell us both. And it's such an important part of staying connected with the folks who are playing your games.
Agreed. And we absolutely listen to our fan feedback. So I love hearing from the fans. All right, Pete, we have a fan video coming up next for you to answer. So let's take a peek.
Sounds good.
Hi guys, my name is Justin. I've been playing with Xbox for about 20 years now. I recently just got a Series X, so I've really been enjoying that. My quick question for you guys are, what unique game opportunities, environments, gameplay do you think that you'll be able to create now that you're collaborating, Bethesda is collaborating with Microsoft? So would love to hear what your responses are to that. Thanks and happy gaming, everyone.
Thanks, JMF17, for that video question submission. All right, Pete, Justin wants to know what unique experiences you might create now that Bethesda and Xbox are collaborating.
It's a very good question, Justin, and one I know a lot of folks are wondering about. I think the thing that I want to make sure everybody has context for is we were operating as a company before the Xbox deal took place. And so all of the projects that we have are, our primary focus right now is keep those going, get those done. At the same time, we've been integrating with Xbox and starting to figure out where are those intersections where there are opportunities to take advantage of new technology or to work with each other in ways that we haven't been able to in the past. Some of those I've seen happen already, and it's super exciting. But game dev isn't what game are we going to start and finish this month? Tends to take a little longer than that, especially if you're Bethesda Game Studios. It takes a lot longer than that. But not always to fill our mind. Look, as a marketing person, it's really easy if we could just get a game every year. My life would be. It's when we take a really long time and we have nothing to tell you that my job gets a little tougher. So I think you're going to see those things, but I think they're going to take time as we get teams to start to be able to start their projects in a way where we're taking advantage of things even better. Or again, some of these meetings and conversations we're having about whether it's technology or whatever it is, I think I'm super excited, first of all, about the stuff you're going to see today. And I'm also excited for where all of these teams and products and games are going to be now that they've got such... It's historic access for Bethesda and what we're able to do with first party. Sarah talked about in the roundtable about, we would often be the first guinea pig when they had an idea or something they wanted to run past us. Hey, we're thinking of doing this, because Todd Howard is very good at giving you a very blunt opinion of exactly what he thinks. But now we get to have those conversations as part of first party and have them even earlier and be more part of the process of where is the tech going to go? What kinds of things should we be thinking about, long term? And I think that's really where the exciting stuff is in the future, Justin. And honestly, I think you're going to love some of the things that our teams are already working on with those things in mind down the road.
Awesome. We're excited for that. Let's take another write-in submitted question. This one is going to be for Phil. And it is, who it's from is Gamertag Pictureman 546. And the question is, what was your first experience with Xbox? Go way back.
Way back. First experience with Xbox was actually Halo. Before the original Xbox came out, I was in a room with Ed Freeze, and we were playing a debug build of Halo. And frankly, at that point, I was more of a PC gamer. So trying to figure out how to hold that controller that was too big. I don't care what anybody says. The original controller was too large. And play, with the dual sticks and whether a shooter was really going to work on console. But I was really kind of blown away by the experience that Bungie had been able to create. At that point, I hadn't played GoldenEye, I hadn't played Perfect Dark. So I was really pretty foreign to FPS on a console. Like for me, it was funny, Doom and Quake and games that we now get to partner directly with, which is awesome, but playing those games on PC. So I was a little bit hesitant to playing an FPS on controller, but Ed and I sat down and we were playing on a debug kit for the original Xbox. And that was the beginning for me. And then obviously I was on part of the team went and tried to backfill my console knowledge went out and bought an N64 and a bunch of things, because it's just not a place that I had played. But early on as a developer, which is where I was coming to this space from, there were some things in the original Xbox that I thought were really revolutionary. I think a lot of people think about stuff like the Ethernet jack on the back and the online gaming that brought on, but even things like the hard drive inside the console, which allowed us to stream assets directly off of that hard drive easily to get them on screen, so we weren't having to use the latency of the drive. And it's interesting, even now in the current generation, you see some of the just traditional bottlenecks or things that we're still as an industry tackling with now things like the SSD and in the Series X and Series S and the speed that offers. But yeah, that was my first experience with the original Xbox, was pre-launch playing an early build of Halo. And here we are, and maybe we'll see Halo again today and still play such an important role in our portfolio and for our community, which is awesome.
So awesome. All right, we're going to take another write-in question. This one's going to be for Sarah. The question comes in from the Scarecrow 121. What is the best part of your job in gaming that we would not know about?
Oh man, that's hard, because I feel like you guys know a lot about me. Gosh, what is the best part? The best part is honestly the people that I get to work with. It's just an amazing group of people. I have a lot of love for the team, both in what we create together, like the work that we do, but also as human beings. This last year has been super tough for a lot of us. And every day I knew I could come downstairs and I could log on and I could look in the screen and I could do something to make the world better. And I could do something with people who saw me, not just for my work, but as a human being, and valued me just as who I am. I've never felt like at Team Xbox I needed to be anybody else but Sarah. And that really is the best part of this. Really is.
I couldn't agree more, Sarah. That really mirrors how I feel as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, we have another fan video, and this question is for everyone. So let's take a peek, and afterwards we will go through and get everyone's answers.
Hi, my name is Florian, Facets of Flow, and this is a question to all of you. What was the funniest or weirdest moment of your gaming career?
I have a feeling there's going to be some really good answers here to this one. All right, thanks, Florian, for that
Just
question.
So we're clear, I'll go last.
Okay, that means that you're going to have the best one for us then, Phil. All right, Facets of Flow wants to know, what is the funniest or weirdest moment of your gaming career? Let's start with you, Pete. You're on the hot seat.
Boy, that's a really good question. The actual answer to this, I have sworn that I am not giving publicly until I retire from Bethesda. So you're going to have to wait for that one.
Okay, are we looking for a tweet or?
But I think my favorite one is actually from the year that we showed Oblivion at E3 for the first time. And we actually got to show it in the Microsoft briefing that year. And then we did our own demo in this little room. And that morning, the convention center on that side lost power, and the air conditioning got knocked out as a result. So when the power came back on, we had no AC. So we basically had like hot yoga Oblivion demos because it was so hot in that room. And I just remember, like, I hope everybody can like stay awake and get the sweat out of their eyes long enough to pay attention to this amazing game that it was a really surreal, and all the fans had to blow into the PC so that because we were really pushing that graphics card, so we had to make sure it didn't overheat. So it was more important to keep the graphics card cool than the people in attendance. I just remember that being a really surreal experience, both how crazy everybody was about Oblivion and how excited they were, but also just the experience of it's 85 degrees in a room with a bunch of really hot people. It was not. I look forward to never doing that again.
Wow, the things that we have to go through, right? All right, Sarah.
Okay, I've been racking my brain. Maybe weirdest or most surreal, honestly, was walking out on stage at E3. I mean, you just sort of can't believe it. And then you walk out there and, at some points when I was saying some things, people were cheering so loud I couldn't speak, and I just started laughing. And then I realized I was going to forget my script because I was laughing. So that was pretty surreal. And I think funniest, though maybe I only think this is funny because I was geeky, is one time Phil and I went on a trip to Japan, and I, for some reason, forgot my cards. And for those of you who know, in Japan, it's very official. You have to hand over your card. And so he gave me some of his cards, and I wrote my name and number on the back. So there's some people in the world who have these business cards with official Phil Spencer on one side and Sarah Bond with my phone number on the back. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
I remember that.
That is awesome.
Sarah and I have spent many miles traveling together. The number of travel stories that we could share is literally probably hundreds of thousands of miles.
Hundreds. One day we'll write a book.
That's right.
All right, Phil, I'm going to go to you on this one, and then we're going to have to go to the next video.
I was thinking about this, and the moment that always will stick with me is the moment we announced Back Compat on stage at E3, and there was multiple things about it. It's not really the funniest, but just in terms of standing there. And as Sarah said, amazing people do a lot of work to have the words that come out of our mouth, feel great. And so for people who don't know, haven't been in the Microsoft Theater when we're doing it, there's teleprompters up so that I don't forget what I'm supposed to say. And so the people in the crowd can actually turn their head and they can read the teleprompter slightly ahead of me if they want to know what's coming. So as I was sitting there, I could see, because I start down the talk track on Back Compat, and the people in the audience are starting to turn and read the teleprompter, because we didn't really give any hints that we were going to do Back Compat for 360. And it was amazing, the amount of just energy in that room. But by the time I got to the point where I'm actually saying the words about Back Compat, as Sarah talked about, nobody could hear me because the auditorium, the theater, was already just such a buzz. And the thing that just always lands with me about that moment is it's really about us. And I even see it going into our show that's going to start in 30, 20 minutes. People will tell me, I don't want to know the leaks. I just want to be entertained. I want to be there as part of the community. I feel like I'm part of the community. I mean, how many of these videos we're watching today, and people have more Xbox swag than I do, and their rooms are painted in Skyrim. It's awesome that people are just, it's a community that feels so connected, and that just is rooting for each other, rooting for us when we're standing on stage. We're all just human. I think Pete said it, we're all fallible, we'll all make mistakes. But sitting there on that stage at that moment and just feeling the collective energy of the thousands of people there that were literally reading the lines ahead of me, and doing a better job. That's one. And then the second one, I just want to say, is the last E3 that we had, 2019, my two daughters were there. It was the first time my two daughters had been in the audience, and the production team did a really nice job in one moment when I'm out in the audience reading one of the sections of positioning me so I'm right next to them, and they're both in their 20s now and they're amazing adults. But it was really nice to be there with them in the audience so they could feel what Dad has been spending probably too much of his life doing for so long. I walked out and gave them both a noogie, which I think for everybody in the audience is why is he attacking these people in the audience? But it was just a moment that meant something to me, to be there on the Microsoft Theater and have my two daughters there in the audience so they could kind of feel what this is all about. That was a special moment.
That's great. Thanks, Phil. No one likes a noogie, not in public. That wasn't very nice, though.
No, it was. I agree.
All right, we've got one final fan submitted video. Let's take a look.
Hi there, my name is Greg Nurse. I'm probably Xbox's #1 puppet fan in the whole wide world. I was wondering, do you have a favorite genre? If so, what is it? Also, I just wanted to say, you and all of the rest of the Xbox team are truly awesome, and we're lucky to have you. Roll on E3. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming to Xbox. Yeah.
Thanks, Gregness. You're awesome too. I love that video. Such creativeness from our fans. All right, Aaron, Gregness wants to know, what is your favorite genre?
Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit. First, I think Gregness should have hosted our show. That is just an amazing little puppet. I don't have a favorite genre. I mean, what I honestly love is playing all the different games. I will say, I do want to go back 1 second to the previous question because I have some incredible fan memories, but I think the one that stood out for me is